Good evening. My name's Dean Reiner for Hatchfinder's Fly Shop, and what I'm going to tie for you today is a new pattern that's been out for maybe a year. It's called the Wilted Spinach. The name is kind of reminds me like the pink pookie. A fly is successful if you got just the right name attached to it. This fly does double duty like a lot of the flies that I like to tie. It represents a mayfly, represents a stonefly, and it represents a caddisfly larvas. This is a wet fly that I'm tying. And it's rather simple and direct. I'm using a size 12 2X long mustad hook so that it'll show up a little bit better. The thread is Uni-Thread Red 6/0. This fly also has a little crystal flash in it for the tail section. And I like to put a little peacock herl behind the soft hackle. So we'll have some peacock herl on there. The dubbing is a Caddis Orange, and it's a Wapsi product. And it's kind of a pain to dub, but if you're patient enough, it works rather well. This fly is also tied with no dubbing whatsoever. It's just tied with a thread body. For the hackle, because it is a soft hackle, I'm going to use some duck feathers, dark in color, for the hackle. Okay, we start one with base thread. And I'm using, like I said, red. Run it down to about the point of the hook. All right, and then we put on our crystal flash, and I fold it in half. And tie that in. And run it back to the barb of the hook. And then fold it over, and I like to make this tail as long as the hook shank. And then we tie that in. This stuff's a little curly, but and just check that. Pull it down a little bit if it needs to be. And cut off the excess. Next step is the dubbing. You don't want to make it a real tight wrap on the dubbing. You want to leave it just a little buggy. I like this Caddis Orange because it's got a little sparkle to it. And I like to start at the front when I put dubbing on because I make wide turns with it. And then I come back over until I get the body proper taper and proportion. Okay, that's the body. Now I'll grab a peacock herl. What this does, the original fly doesn't call for it, but what this does for me is it keeps the soft hackle billowed out instead of folding flat up against the body. Just run a few turns around, build up that peacock just a little bit, just so that the soft hackle has something to ride against. And peacock on any kind of a nymph is a good idea. Fish like it. Okay, we got that done. That little bark was from Yuki. She's the shop mascot, and a sweet little thing she is. And I put up with any of her shenanigans. All right, next we need the soft hackle. And I'm using a merganser, the feathers from the head of a merganser. And you can get by with a rather large feather. And as you can see, merganser is easy to come by but hard to get, but it's an awfully pretty feather. A lot of people don't like mergansers because they eat the fish, but if you happen to hook one, it's kind of fun. Okay, we're going to tie this in from the base of the feather. And we're going to tie it with the shiny side up because we want the feathers to curl back. And we want the feathers to come to the end of the sparkle, so we'll just bring it, strip a little bit more off. That's about right. And tie this in. And hackle pliers. And do about 2 turns, 2 complete turns. If I can hold on to the feather. And we want to stroke the hackle back. I'm going to go 1 more half turn. I like a nice, neat head. Not too big, not too small. And go in and clip out some of that wild hair there. It is rather sparse, and that's the way I like it. And a drop of head cement. And that is the wilted spinach. Enjoy it.